To do absolutely nothing has been the best play of all. Just, I'm like 90% Solana. It's been the right bet to have over the cycle so far. The only play I've done this year in any meaningful size was I took top slice Solana as it was coming from 150 over to 200, top sliced it and started buying the high end of NFTs. So I bought pretty much every single Beeple I could possibly buy. And then I bought every single X copy I could afford, building a long-term portfolio. These things were quite beaten down. And my view is this space goes from 2.5, 3 trillion now. By the end of this cycle, it's 10 to 15 trillion. By the end of, let's say, 2032, just extrapolating the normal log trend of this, it's $100 trillion by 2032. That from here is $97 trillion of wealth that is going to come. This is the largest, fastest accumulation of wealth in all recorded history. Let's assume I'm a total moron, which is a good thing to do, and I'm wrong by 50%. It's still a $50 trillion wealth accumulation. That is the entire history of wealth accumulation of the S&P 500 and its market cap. So the amount of wealth that's going to get generated is going to get recycled into the space. People will buy high-end property in nice places, but a lot of people in this space won't go outside of this space, and it gets recycled, whether it's VC, whether it's the opportunities of building the applications layer, but really people seek trophy assets. And so I've just been buying as much trophy assets as I can for a kind of long 10-year time horizon, because I think this is the last chance you'll ever get to buy this stuff at the kind of prices it is.
Real Vision founder and macroeconomic expert Raoul Pal believes that $97 trillion worth of wealth is going to be created in the crypto space over the next 8 years. This will be the fastest accumulation of wealth in all of recorded history. And if you're in the crypto space, you'll be able to benefit from it. In their latest interview, both Raoul Pal and Arthur Hayes were interviewed on what their crypto strategies are for the second half of 2024. Raoul revealed that his portfolio is 90% Solana and his main strategy is to sit on his hands. However, make sure to stick around to the end of the video where they discuss their strategies to make the most of the coming banana zone and which altcoins they bet will outperform the most. Before we jump into the video, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy finance content, consider subscribing and turning on post notifications. It's completely free and you can always change your mind later. But without further ado, let's jump in with Raoul Pal.
The banana zone is something that both Arthur and I talk a lot about. It's that point in the cycle where liquidity comes in, where central banks need to refi all of the debt. It's when politicians bribe the people with plenty of candy. It's that moment that crypto tends to go vertical, and it's very cyclical. It's driven by this macroeconomic forces of this debt refi cycle. It affects all the asset prices over the time, but crypto is the one that goes truly bananas. So again, the simplest way is don't fuck this up. So just have a core portfolio, the big stuff. But if you get the other stuff right, you can make a lot of money in the other stuff. The 10, 20% of your portfolio, there's a bit more degen. That's when you're going to see some really interesting stuff. Now, if you go back to the classic banana zone from the last cycle, that's when Solana, Avalanche, Luna, and Matic came. And the performance in 1 year out of those 4 tokens was insane. We're going to see that repeat. Who's it going to be? What's it going to be? I don't know yet. But that's a game to be had in the banana zone. And it's part of the fun that you can actually degen in and feel like you've really nailed something. Because really most of the game is just doing nothing and just letting it all play out. When you narrow everything down, the outcome for everything is printing money. So the worse anything happens in the US, the more likely they are to print money. So election years tend to be very, very positive, and the year after for risk assets, just because everybody's buying votes and then kind of proving themselves afterwards and mopping up the pieces and paying that interest on the debt. So there's that military side. You've then got all the retirees who are the baby boomers with all the votes. Well, they want their healthcare. And then the third part of the equation is somebody needs to pay the interest on the debt. And the only way of doing this is the magic money printer. You can see there's a shortage of dollars around the world, right? We lost US banks. We lost a giant Swiss bank. We're losing dollar yen, right? That's a shortage of dollars. And we've got Yellen going to China twice. Right, she's there because her other job outside of getting Joe elected is to sell bonds. She's the Mike Milken selling junk bonds, going to China doing the roadshow. China's like, yeah, we'd love to buy your bonds, but we don't have any dollars. So you give us dollars and we'll buy bonds. So they have to figure out how that can be done. Now, nobody really wants to give China direct swap lines. They probably do it through Japanese bond intervention, by currency intervention. Either way, the G20's coming up or G7's coming up. There'll be some magical allowance for everybody to have enough dollars for the system to move forward and everything to happen. So there has been no independence since 2008. I think I don't think there's much independence between central banks either. I think the BOJ kind of taught everybody the trick. Everybody's followed suit. They've all got the same problems, which is the debt and the aging populations, and everybody plays the same card. And there's, the BOJ and the MOF, that they stopped being independent in the 90s, even though on paper they are. And so it is all driven by the Treasury and required to refinance this debt since 2008. And I'm just trying to do nothing. The one thing I've been observing is stuff like the ETH Bitcoin cross. ETH got into the total hate zone, which always gets interesting to me. And then the ETH Bitcoin cross starts breaking higher, bounce right off the bottom of the range. I'm interested in that because that's the start of altcoin season in its truest form. So if it breaks a bit higher than here, we can see why that will happen now, because the ETF, it's been delayed a bit, but we saw it with Bitcoin. The run starts well before the launch. So that then recycles capital up the risk curve, and that's banana zone. So for me, the focus is the banana zone, trying to get that right, because that's where you can make a lot of money. So you kind of have to focus, even if you're not doing anything. You just, you don't want to lose your coins, because that's the most painful part of losing it is in the banana zone. Just hold on to your coins, and also don't fuck it up by owning the wrong stuff, getting way out the risk curve, and you're left where the whole middle of the crypto market rallies, and you're so far out the risk curve in some weird political token from South Korea that you miss out on the entire rally, which I've seen. Or you're still stuck in the last narrative. You're stuck in, one of the big layer ones from 3 cycles ago, thinking it's definitely going to come back this time. And
Cardano there. All you Cardano holders.
I didn't want to say it. I
don't know.
So top 10 market cap now. Next cycle.
He's trying to get me into trouble. He's just trying to get me to name
Charles is going to come whoop your ass.
We'll go with Move is something. The Move protocol, I think that's a big narrative to come. No, I'm interested. I'm just really interested in this next round of the big layer ones, and there's a few in that game that are interesting. And so let's see, because that's a really profitable part of the banana zone is this next trade. That trade, that was enormous money-making trade last time, and the cycle before. So it will be again this time. Most of these tokens they've picked up from the lows. They all launched kind of at the wrong point in the cycle, stuff like that. So it's quite a good setup for some of these.
So there's Raoul Pal's insights into the future of the crypto market and how he plans to play it as we get deeper into the bull run. But what do you think of Raoul's heavy investment in Solana and his hands-off approach? Let us know in the comments. If you want to stay updated on the latest in macroeconomics and crypto strategies, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. We've got more expert interviews and deep dives into the crypto market coming your way. Anyway guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.